So hi everyone. Waiting for one to happen. Okay, so this is like continuation of the part one of planning for the future. My internet was glitchy, and so I had to start this one again. And I hope you guys can actually find me here with this particular Facebook Live. And if you don't, you can watch the replay. So basically, planning for the future, there are actually three elements to it. The first element is what, hi Anju, good to have you live. Anju, can you please do me a favor? And on that other one, if you don't mind, can you go and comment that I've started a new Facebook Live? Thanks a lot. So, so planning for the future, there are actually three components that you look at. The first component is, what I was just reading from the book, The Journey Home, and the first component is that we always have help. Okay, we always have help. There is like an entourage of angels and guides and whatever that we want to call them, they're always there waiting to help us, and we just have to ask them for help. And if we ask them for help, then the help is given. The thing is that we go most of the time not asking, and that's what just shows up. That's the component number one. Help is always available. You just have to reach out and ask for help. And you could just say, universe, help me, universe, contribute to me, and the universe will rearrange itself and will give you whatever it is that you are asking for. How do you ask? You just ask, universe, I would like to have help with this, and can you help me with this? Like as if you are talking to your best friend. That's how you ask. That's number one. Number two, and this one is a little bit difficult for most people, but it is this. And it is that we all have a map. This is the concept of the map, okay? So we all have a map. So right now, for those of you who use like Google Maps or any kind of navigation maps, what you do is that you put in your destination, and then the app, it will map out a route for you, and then you start on your journey. Okay, but here's the thing, in this new energy, there is no destination. There is absolutely no destination. It is just the journey. Okay? You have to just start your journey. And the thing is, we are already on our journey. We've already started our journey. Okay? Now we all have a map. Like just like, Mike, he asked, he said, what did he say? He said something like, hold on, where did that thing go? Uh, I have to find it. Hold on now. Yeah, he said, uh, you know, if you're here, I need you now. Where does my journey start? So, if you just ask, what is the next step on my journey? The map will give you a marker. Okay, so the way that this map works is that it will not show you the whole route. It only shows you the next marker, the next marker. So think of it like a treasure hunt. So when you start on a treasure hunt, you get the first clue, and the first clue will then take you to the next place where you will find the next clue, and then that will take you to the next place where you will find the next clue. So your map is exactly like that. It will only show you the first place that you need to go. It will just show you the route to the first place. That's it. Okay. And that's where things become really interesting, because we have been so used to thinking of a destination and to planning our route according to that, that when we don't have a destination, we are like totally flustered, and we are like, I don't really know what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be. But that's what this energy is presenting to us. And surely but steadily, this is exactly what is there. And we have to actually learn to navigate this map really, really quickly. So how do you navigate this map? Well, I would highly recommend that you get this book, The Journey Home. And, it is the journey of Michael Thomas through these 7 houses. And, there's a lot of information about the map, and you can find it on Amazon or anywhere. I will actually post the name of the book and the author, The Journey Home by Lee Carroll. Find this book. And as I was contemplating this, I was thinking maybe I should just do a book reading of this, right? So Stacy says, I've been experiencing exactly what you are saying. Actually, a lot of people are experiencing this, and I bet that you are experiencing this as well. That you cannot, even if you make a plan, it just doesn't work. There is no energy to it. And I spoke about this yesterday in my Facebook live, and I said that just start. Okay, what do I need to do now? And something will pop. It will pop energetically, and just go do it. And once you're done with it, or even if you are done halfway, then suddenly you will have an awareness that this is done for now, and you will have an awareness of something else, and you start to do that next thing, and then you will have an awareness of something else, and so you go ahead and do that next thing. That's your internal map which is guiding you. Do this, then do this, then do this. But the next step is only revealed once you do the first step. So it's really the journey, it's about the map. Okay, so that's the second attribute. Okay, the first one is that you always have help, ask for it. Number two is the map has only one clue on it. Once you crack that clue, the second one will open up, and then the third one, and then the fourth one, and so on. Like, listen to yesterday's live, and I gave people a home play to play with, and you can go ahead and play that. And the third thing is this thing. And in order to talk about the third thing, I'm actually going to read again from this book. Okay, so have patience with me. I'm going to just read, and it's a really short read, and you will love it. Chapter 5, The Second House. A little further up the road, Mike could clearly see a problem. In the distance, he could see a fork in the road. He'd have to choose the way to the next house. To make matters worse, he had the feeling he was being watched. He stopped and scratched his head, staring down each of the two paths. What is this? He thought to himself. How am I supposed to know my way around here? I'm just a kid stuck with a bogus map. Mike didn't expect any answers, since he was really just talking to himself, but he was upset. He decided to check the map anyway and sat down beside the road. He took the map pouch that Blue had given him off his shoulder and was about to pull out the map when he was almost knocked down by a horrible smell. What is that? It smelled so bad he almost didn't want to see what it was. Something was definitely rotten, and he could only guess that it must be the bread he'd stashed away. He was right. Mike gently removed the map from its pouch. Even though the map seemed useless, he knew it was sacred and didn't want it to get messed up. It was okay. Next, Mike pushed the gym bag several inches away and slowly unzipped it, half afraid of what he might find. He turned it over and carefully dumped everything out of it. He couldn't believe what he saw. There on the ground were crumbs and clumps of a muffin and breadsticks that looked like they had spent a long time outside rotting. They were black with mold. Then Mike saw the first and only bugs of this strange land, thousands of them. He stood up quickly, thinking, how can this be? I just left the blue house a few hours ago. Even rotting meat wouldn't do that. What's happening? Holding his nose, Mike stopped and took a closer look. The black, wiggling lumps continued rotting right before his eyes. He watched as the tiny bugs ate the rest of the black mess and then each other. Mike was grossed out and turned his head away. So, this is the third attribute. The third attribute is this, that whatever you require will be given to you even before you ask it. And if you stash things, if you hoard things, it's going to rot just like this. It's absolutely going to rot just like this. So a lot of people I know, they have these plans that, I'd like to create this, and I'd like to create this, and I'd like to create this, and I would like to have so much money. And they kind of define themselves by how much money they have created, or they define their value according to the money that they already have in the bank account. But what if none of that was true? What if you were actually given what you required even before you asked for it? So, have any of you experienced this, that you are walking somewhere, and even before you need something, it shows up. It it like totally shows up in front of you, and that thing is done. Like you might receive somebody might give you a gift, and when you open, it contains this beautiful box for storing jewelry. And then you go home and you look at your jewelry box, and it's cracked and it's broken, right? And you were like, oh my god, I didn't even know my jewelry box was broken. And even before I knew my jewelry box was open, somebody already gifted me a jewelry box. So this is yes, many times before my thought, it's there. Exactly, Shruti, right? And Rita also says almost always. So even before you require something, it is actually provided to you. And so we are still functioning from this old energy of hoarding things, of collecting things. And one of the things that we actually like to collect is money. And when the sparrow wakes up in the morning, it hasn't collected food from the day before. It wakes up in the morning and it goes and it finds food, and it always has enough food for that day, and then it goes to sleep and wakes up the next morning. And this is exactly the energy that is being presented now. And this is the energy which is really going to come in a really, really, really strong way. So, I would really invite you to read this book, The Journey Home. I read this book in, I think, maybe 2000, or when it was first released, and I haven't really read it then. But as I've been reading a little bit of it, what I realize is that this is exactly the life I'm living right now. Okay. And so I think I'm going to do a book reading with this book. If you are interested in being a part of this book reading, it's going to be free, but I will probably do it not on Facebook. I'll do it on YouTube Live or Instagram. So if you are interested, just let me know in the comments below that you are interested. So when I have my stuff ready, I will let you know. And really, this book, it gives you the tools for living our life right now. Everything that is showing up now is a lot of what I had read in this book, almost like 20 years ago, because it was in the beginning of the 2000s that I read this book, that Lee came up with this book. So Shruti asks, what is it and how can we exponentialize this capacity? It's not a capacity, Shruti. It's what we have as infinite beings. And as infinite beings, we all have this is an inner compass that we have. So number one, help; number two, map; and number three is this thing about not hoarding. And there are many, many different things, because I just read a little part of 2 chapters here, right? So we can do this book reading over a period of time, and allow it to sink in. So all those who are interested, in my Facebook group, Create Your Greatest Life, I'm going to start a thread. Please comment on that. So I will post the link where you can go and get the book and so on, and then we can start the book reading. Yeah. So this is what it is: planning for the future. The future is like, it's really like not solid. It's not a destination. It's nothing. It's really about being in the now and really living in the now moment, and in this moment creating. And so much has been shifting and changing in my world because of this. Like, the biggest thing I can see is with relationship to food, right? What I'm really becoming aware of is that how much I'm always planning for the future, like with relationship to food. And I end up buying so much food, and so much, and a lot of it we don't actually eat, or else I may force myself to eat just because I don't want to waste all that food, right? And so today, when I went to the grocery, and I was so tempted to get this and get that and get that, and then I just asked a question: what do I require today? And I just ended up buying 3 things, and I was out of there, you know? And it is the case with everything. Like, it is the case with wearing your clothes. You can just go to your wardrobe and look, okay, what would I like to wear right now? And something is going to pop. Just take that. So it's really about living in the moment, being in the moment, and going forward with that. So I hope what I had to say kind of contributed to you guys. And yeah, because I just felt that this was really something that I needed to talk about in today's Facebook Live. So I spoke about it. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, in the next Facebook Live, which I will do probably on Sunday, I'm going to talk about navigating change with ease. Because if you have read my email that I sent out today, it's all about how much change has been occurring, and how uncomfortable I've been with that. And so how can we navigate change with ease? Because the only constant in life is actually change. Like, everything is always changing, but we have bought into this lie of constancy and all of that. So how do you navigate change with ease? Now, I also wanted to invite you guys to come and join me in my monthly membership program, Alchemy Accelerator. And a lot has been happening with me. I've started channeling information and symbols and codes. And guess what? I share most of that information in my group, Alchemy Accelerator. So in this month, it's the month of creation. And I've shared 3 codes with the people. One is called formless, people who have been playing with that for more than 11 days. And even when they just started off, all of them pretty much across the board, everyone, they said that they just started being more happy and more joyful and all of that, and then the other two codes are the creation code and the truth code. So those are three codes that you get this month. The other thing is this most phenomenal process that I just received a few days ago, and I've been using it for anything and everything. And this process is called the integrity process. And I've done it for situations. I've done it for relationships with people. We can also use the process for things that are going on in our country, things that are going on in our planet. And then a very big part of the process is integrity of being. So who we are as infinite beings, when we start functioning as finite beings, we are not actually in integrity with who we are as an infinite being. So you start doing this process on yourself with integrity of being, and a whole bunch of things starts to shift and change for you. Like, I did this process on a particular relationship. I did this process when I wanted to get clarity about something. Like, I was getting sucked into a lot of lies and trauma and drama. So what I did was I did this process on that particular situation, and within few hours I started to get clarity. And then I did it again the next day, and I had even more clarity. And then the next day, and even more clarity. So like, it's almost like, like that fuzziness started to vanish, and I started to get more and more clarity. I did it on myself, on my body, integrity with my body. And suddenly, and this thing that I spoke about, the food, it showed up. Like, when I went food shopping, I could only, I had that clarity, and I only bought those two or three things. The way I'm eating has actually changed, where I'm being very, very conscious of what is required in the moment and only eating that. I've stopped eating certain foods, and it's just like, I just don't want to eat those foods anymore. In terms of relationships, that is again very, very huge, very dynamic, because with people, it's that integrity of the relationship. And the integrity of the relationship comes when there is kind of gifting and receiving from both people. And so what starts to occur is that you start to see where either you are not willing to receive, or the other person is not willing to receive. And what happens is, you suddenly start become willing to receive, and you start becoming very, very much in allowance of what the other person is going through. So this is something that I will be teaching. And the thing about this is that only if you join this within the month of February, you're going to get this. If you join the membership site anytime later, you will not get this. You will get everything else, but this process, you will have to buy it as a separate process. The other thing that I'm going to do is the crystalline heart activation. So I received this activation like about 2-3 weeks ago, and I did it on a few people, and it created a huge amount of change. And my awareness is that it helps you in switching tracks. So it's like, whatever you are going through, that path you are on, the moment you receive that activation, you're going to switch tracks. But when I was doing it for people, I was also aware that there would be something that would be required before that. And then I received the integrity process. So the integrity process, I will teach it to you. So then you can take it, you can go with it, you can, use it for yourself, you can use it for your clients, you can do whatever you want with it. But the crystalline heart activation, I don't get that to teach it right now. So it's going to be like an activation I'm going to do for people. So you can join in and you can receive that. And plus, you also have one facilitation call with me every month. And in this call, you can ask me any question. You can ask for facilitation on anything. Now, for those people who have already, gotten the formless code and you would like to get the alchemy accelerator, I will adjust whatever you have paid in your membership there. Okay, so if this is something that calls to you, come join me. And I absolutely have no clue what I'm going to present next month in Alchemy Accelerator. All I know is that in this month, all these things, they kind of just showed up and they popped, and this is what I've made available. And the group of people who've been hanging out with me in Alchemy Accelerator, they receive everything that pops for me. I just present it for them. So if this is something you would like to play with, come join us. And you can always join and cancel in 1 month if that's something you don't like. There is no commitment to it. There is an option where you save a little money if you get the 1 year membership. That's all there is. But you can join anytime, you can leave anytime. So I'd love to see you guys in that. But even if I don't see you there, I still adore hanging out with all of you. And I'm still going to continue doing these kind of series every month because this year it's very, very clear. This is what, this is where the energy is. Just, sharing tools with people. Like in a different time and place, I would never have done this series free. I would have actually charged money for it. But for me this year it was like, no, it has to be free. And so I hope you will join me in the book reading for this book, The Journey Home. And I will post the details in my group, Create Your Greatest Life. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and every day. In the next one, I'm going to talk about navigating change with ease. So thanks, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye. Interesting. So my computer seems to have hanged and I can't seem to end this broadcast. How does it get any better than this? And what else is possible? Maybe I will just close this.